Hi there. This is a quick walkthrough of how to access Google Classroom and to use a VPN if you need to do that. So let me share my screen here. So right now I'm not on campus. I'm actually at my friend's house in Ohio. And many things that we use you can access through the regular internet. And so Google Classroom is one of those. So if you just go to classroom.google.com, you log in. When you get your login, you use your Truman account, and there you go. Now, there are several streams. One at the top is people. You can see that I'm Scott Alberts, and our grader is Sam Philippi, and she'll be grading some of your assignments. And then you can see the other students in the class, and there's a way that you can email them without learning their email address, and that's fine for security purposes, but you just click them and you can do that. And as you're setting up your projects, you might go ahead and want to do that. So the other two tabs are classwork, which has a list of all of our class assignments. I've put them by week. When you have it, you can either see all assignments, in which case everything is there, or you can jump down to the week. Within each assignment, I have a description and then links. When you actually go in and turn in your homework, there's a button that says submit. I can't show it to you because I don't have a student account, but that should be the thing you're going to do most of the time from this middle tab. And again, you can see a lot of these videos are short. I try to keep them about 5 to 10 minutes. A couple are longer. And then over here, you can see what they are. So this is just information. This has a short answer question, and this has an assignment that you submit. So these are the ones you should probably get to. They're due the first week of class, so you might want to get to them. And then each week just has a series of assignments. The discussion ones, this is where you can put questions you have or ideas you have. You can actually answer each other questions. Discussion is not a giant part of your grade in the class, but you certainly want to do that. The ones marked big ideas are those slightly longer videos where I explain sort of a big concept. They're more similar to a class lecture like I would give if you were in a regular class with me. And I try to limit those to 1 per week. There might be a couple weeks in the beginning where there's 2 of them. By the end, we'll do fewer of those because you're going to be working on your project. Anyway, each one of those has a short multiple choice question. It's worth a couple points participation. If you watch the video, they'll be super easy to do. Labs and homework are there. And then you can just go through each of the weeks. The third tab is the stream, and the stream just literally posts things as I have them. Every time I post an assignment, I'm trying to front load the class so that they all appear quickly. I sort of apologize that you get an email every time something appears in the stream. Later on, that'll be cool, but right now it's probably kind of annoying. I think there is a way to go in and you can set it so you just get 1 email a day or something like that. So that's using Google Classroom. The second thing I wanted to mention is the virtual desktop, which you may have already seen in some of the other videos at view.truman.edu. And when you get there, you can just click on this and log in, and it makes a desktop on your screen. There's another option called a VMware client, and that puts an actual piece of software on your computer. I find it runs a little bit faster. However, if you do that and you're not on campus, you would need to install a VPN server. VPN is a virtual private network, and it lets you connect to computers remotely. Some of you who are in China this summer, you might actually find that this will help too if anything is blocked by a firewall. There are several VPN clients. The one that Truman has, and you can actually download from, is called Cisco Anyconnect. And when you go in, you can set that up, and then you can connect. And then the web page you use is vpn.truman.edu. You connect to it with your name and password. And then when you do that, your computer acts like it lives on campus. Virtual machine, or like I said, if you're overseas and you're having trouble, the VPN client might be the trick that helps everything work a little bit better and a little bit faster. So, okay.